life. So we need to think about that. Joanne, great call. Thank you for calling. Joanne in Derby. Now, she's been waiting patiently. A real pleasure now to welcome to the show Education Secretary Gillian Keegan. Good morning, Gillian.
Morning, Kevin.
Now, we've been talking about a lot of bad news, particularly for Buckingham Palace and King Charles, but you've got some good news. Tell us about your skills training boost to help get more people into jobs, what the government has spent and what it will mean.
Yeah, it's £472 million which we're investing in universities and FE colleges, more than 100 of them around the country. And it's really to invest in the latest equipment and facilities to train the next generation of paramedics, podiatrists, advanced manufacturing, robotics engineers, or a whole host of different jobs. And there's a lot of different equipment that's been requested, and we are announcing today that we are going to be investing in that to make sure we have the next generation of people trained on the very latest equipment.
Is this important, targeting students towards specific skilled careers? Is that what this is all about?
Yeah, we do want to make sure that we have enough, people in the pipeline for our health service. We have enough paramedics of the future. We have enough midwives. We have enough nurses and allied health professionals, that we have enough people to support our growing advanced manufacturing industry. We have 1.255 million job vacancies in the country. A lot of those are really high quality jobs, and we want to make sure that people are aware of those and they get the skills to be able to get those great jobs.
Well, congratulations. It's good to talk about some good news. Yes. I'm going to have to steer you towards some less good news now. I want to talk about the Christmas strikes. Now, we've been spending a lot of time this morning already, apart from when we're talking about the royal documentaries, worrying about these frontline medical workers going on strike, the ambulance workers, the nurses, potentially 999 operators. Now, the unions have been very careful to say, oh, this will not cost lives. We're going to keep emergency services up. Ambulance drivers say, oh, we'll go to life or death situations. We just won't go to non-life threatening situations. How can they tell? Our contention is, and I think this is obvious, the problem with nurses going on strike and ambulances going on strike is whatever they say, this will cost lives. People will die on the altar of these industrial actions. And Rishi Sunak today has said that he's moving potentially towards banning frontline medical workers from going on strike in order to protect lives. I approve of that. So what's your feeling?
Well, I think what we've learned is that we have some very critical workers in this country. I mean, we relied on them obviously a lot during the pandemic. We really need them. And if they go on strike, there's a disproportionate impact on lots of people. And that's something that we're considering with this legislation. It's really disappointing. I mean, we've tried to navigate this road to try and make sure that we do understand, obviously, inflation is having a big impact on everybody, not only in our country, across the world. But we are really trying to focus on tackling that to get that down. And we've tried to get that balance of being fair to, provide some increases in line with the recommendations, but obviously you can't spend your way out of inflation. So to try and get that balance right. So it is really disappointing, and we are urging the nurses and ambulance drivers to work with us to avoid these strikes, because there's nothing good that can come out of these strikes.
If we enlarge the kind of general strike situation, I mean, the unions are saying they're not working together, they're not coordinating this. It is not a general strike, but it pretty much close as damn it is a general strike, promising a sort of winter of discontent. Christmas ruined for millions of people, unable to fly home to see their families, unable to get trains to see their families. Add to that, of course, the ambulance drivers, the nurses, so many strikes going on. I gather even coffin makers have gone on strike. What is the government doing to try to avert all of this? Can they get round the table? Can they bang heads together to try and get some sort of solution? Because I think the British public are crying out for it. And if this government which is catching a lot of flack for all sorts of reasons. If this government could restore Christmas to this nation and say the trains are running, the planes are flying, you get a lot of brownie points.
Yeah, and we're trying very hard to do that. I mean, just to put it into context, Kevin, if we paid all the public sector unions that are going out on strike, if we paid what they're requesting, it's 28 billion pounds. So that's actually the cost, and of course it's ordinary taxpayers who would be paying that. I mean, the government only has taxpayers' money, so we tried to get a impact on all of our lives. Of course it is, but the real goal here is to tackle inflation so it's going down as the OBR have forecast it will if we stick to our plans. By mid next year. That is it. These are global challenges. Everybody's facing them. You can't strike your way out of them. You can't spend your way out of inflation. They are difficult challenges, and we would urge everybody to come together. Really, we have been through a very tough time with the pandemic and the war in Ukraine and the impact that's having on us, let alone the impact it's having on Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian families that we've welcomed.
Well, let's hope, Gillian, that some sort of resolution can be reached between the government, the unions, and if we can avoid just some of these strikes, it would be great. Lovely to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time.